there is a way that constitutional functionary should function. Rather than stoke sentiment in neighboring state, I think the whole position should have been otherwise, to heal the wounds, not to stoke them. This is the reason why I have put the story of the mortuaries with the bite that was given by the Chief Minister on 12th together. Your comments?
Yes, absolutely right. The CM of Manipur, he has said very correctly that it's a law and order is internal matter of the state. And if at all the CM of newly elected CM of Mizoram wish to help the Manipur, he can have a one-on-one meeting by visiting to Imphal or in some other places as they have decided, and he can give his suggestions. However, publicly saying such type of comments is not recommended or is not good for the people who are staying in the crisis zone areas. And moreover, More, as we all know, it is a Koki-dominated area, and the Meitei have suffered mostly. And also, as CM said, it is a, multi-community area where Tamils are there, Bengalis are there, Marwaris are there, even Punjabis, Kukis, Nagas, Meiteis, and Pangals. So it is incorrect to say or to comment by the newly elected CM of Mizoram. And I also thank Mr. Razak for well explaining about the politics spread over the mortals of the so many people. So this is what I have to say, Kartik.
Okay. Rajat, you had raised your hand. You wanted to come in? Can you please unmute yourself, Rajat? Can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. I just wanted to point out certain factual inaccuracies which were presented by respected colleague Dr. Hauke. I think, when lands for burial grounds are allocated in an amicable manner, it can obviously be government land or private land or whatever is earmarked. But if you want to play politics when it comes to selecting land in Torbung area, which was the flashpoint, the very initial flashpoint, then this seems more deliberate an act. And this is why we saw so much confrontation that the central forces had to rein in, and they ensured that that land is not touched. Had there been an iota of merit in that argument that that land in Torbung, which was a sericulture department land, which was chosen deliberately for the burial, had there been any merit, central forces would have ensured that a safe and a respectful burial is given. But they understood the politics behind it. So let us not try and befool ourselves and work towards more accretive solution where both parties get into a win-win scenario. I think this is why a neutral arbiter like that of the Supreme Court and their intervention on matters is going to be extremely important. And even in the days going forward, any kind of a vexed issue, the monitoring body of the Supreme Court and the central agencies should continue to play that arbiter role and keep finding middle ground and common grounds. Otherwise, every small issue will become a flashpoint and no conclusion is going to come. Now that the those peak of our sentiments have all been have reached to a level of calm, we should ensure that this relative calm, both in the valley and in the hills, sees more period of stability, calmness. We come out of our respective positions and ensure that a future course of action is created. I think in this line we have seen how Mizoram has had consistent problems when it came to initially having a huge bad relations with the Assam government. They shot down and killed Assam police officers. Same way we are seeing their interventions in Manipur matters. My advice to Laldu Homaji, respectful Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, is that please get the house in order of Mizoram. The previous Chief Minister was ousted not because of Zo relations or Kuki-Zo issues. He was ousted because of the local governance mishandling that he kept doing. There was massive corruption. There was public service recruitment scam. The youth were unemployed. There were massive problems. He has his plate full already. So Laldu Homaji should actually focus on those affairs and provide a helping hand to the Manipur government. And I think this is where the Honorable Chief Minister Biren Singh was very matured in his outlook. He said there have been a lot of problems which ail the Northeast, but no other state starts pinpricking each one of them as if we are mutual enemies. We are not. We're looking at coming up and proposing solutions which are net gainful for all communities. There are 400 plus communities. And this is where I think Laldu Homaji's task is cut out. He needs to ensure that an helping hand from Mizoram comes in, and he can offer help to the Manipur government in resolving this crisis.
Okay,
Instead
you
of
know,
doing
I'll come
politics
to
on
you
them.
because, you know, this is one thing which I wanted to talk about, that what are the other pending issues which need to be taken up. Misa, after a long time, a very warm welcome on my show. Your opening comments, sorry I couldn't get you, you know, we were not able to reach you. Your opening comments?
Yeah, it's a very new development, especially when the mortal remains of those cookie bodies would be given respectful burial as per the directive of the Supreme Court. I would also counter to Rajat saying that the cookies are playing politics over those dead bodies. I think that's very unfortunate and something which is uncalled from such person who was advisor to the chief minister and who fails to understand the sentiments of the victim's family and who also fails to read the current scenario, taking into account the feelings of those people who have undergone such difficult situation. Now, it's also very understandable that people who are also appointed by the same gurus from the central government who are from the same background, parties, would always talk in line with the state government, who is also like the BJP figure. And that's something which I'm really shocked to hear, because someone who is advisor to the CM never understand the feeling of those who are actually the victims of all this, what we call it, state-sponsor violence and terrorism. And I think that will further hurt the feelings of those victim community.
You should be
Now,
more concerned about what the Supreme Court has said. Supreme Court made these observations. I'm barely repeating these observations. These are not my independent findings. These are Supreme Court monitored committee's independent findings, sir. Please, sir, do not attribute
what
it
I'm
to
saying
me.
is like, when you are saying everything, why don't you talk about the politics over all those 5,000 guns being handed over?
Let us
to
talk
those
about
radical-
Supreme Court's observation around the mortal remains. That's the subject of the debate. Please look at the
No,
subject
that's
of the
subject.
debate.
I do understand.
So what do
When
you
you are
say about
saying
the Supreme
the
Court's findings,
particular
sir?
communities are playing politics over
Respectfully,
there,
what do you say about Supreme Court's findings?
the Supreme Court finding, as per that, we are obliging, because when the Bureau site in Tolbung area was a controversial, that's how we obliged to the court directive as well as to the Minister of Home Affairs
So their
directive,
findings were
for
that you were
which
doing
for
politics.
which for which we stopped
So the
those Bureau
findings were that
sites.
the
And
politics
now
was being done on mortal remains.
with all
Sir,
this new
respectfully, sir.
development, we also oblige,
Sir,
saying
quite
that now it
respectfully,
is
sir,
high time that all these
Supreme
people
Court said, sir,
who are killed mercilessly,
Kartik ji,
who
this
are
needs
killed
to be,
mercilessly, should be
Kartik
given a
ji, this needs
due,
to be
Okay.
corrected.
respectful burial to that place. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Kartikeya ji, this needs to be corrected because the Supreme Court not just passed an order, there were observations.
Correct,
that certain
absolutely. You
CEOs
know,
are doing
Misao,
politics
you know,
on it.
I
These
was
are not my words.
Yes,
These are
absolutely.
Honorable
Absolutely,
Supreme Court's
absolutely.
words.
Mr. Misao, you know, that there were two things. One was the order of the court and one was the observation of the committee. There are two things, Mr. Misao. The observation of the committee by a retired High Court judge. She was the one who mentioned this. She was the one who mentioned in a report that certain civil society organizations are not letting the burial take place. So I think there is a difference.